we go to Mozambique, the land of Samora Machel. And
Yes.
they've been in the news lately, and it's to do with our friend, Mr. Kagame. Again, this story comes from the Financial Times, and the story is titled Total being the oil firm from France, hands security contract for 20 billion Mozambique's gas project to Rwanda state-linked business. Kigali pursues commercial expansion in the country after its army helped put down Islamic insurgency. Put a pin in that one. I would shed some light there. Raula Kalaf, editor of the Financial Times, select her favorite stories in this weekly newspaper. And this story was filed in by Tom Wilson in London. A security company backed by the Rwanda's ruling party has been hired to guide Total's energy giant's gas project in Mozambique as Kigali continues its commercial expansion in the country 3 years after its army helped put down an Islamic insurgency. After an attack by Islamic insurgents on the neighboring town of Palma killed dozens of people, including foreign contractors working on the project, Total declared force majeure and paused the project in 2021. Rwanda has subsequently deployed more than 4,000 troops to secure the region under an agreement between Mozambique's President Philip Nyusi and his Rwanda counterpart, Paul Kagame. The former rebel commander has crushed political opposition in the country, but has won praise in some circles, that's referring to Rwanda, for improving Rwanda's economy and building a ruthlessly efficient bureaucracy. He was recently elected for a fourth term this week, winning 99% of the vote, according to preliminary results, after which at least 3 prominent opposition candidates were banned from running. There are many unanswered questions about the arrangement between Maputo and Kigali related to the Rwanda security deployment in Cabo Delgado. The total lack of transparency feeds ongoing speculation about the kind of concessions, contracts, and forward mortgaging of LNG income flow that has been secured by Rwanda interest. Isco Global is one of the several Rwanda companies to have established subsidiaries in Mozambique since 2021 in sectors including security, construction, and mining. The parent company, Intersec Security Company, was established in 1995, a year after Kagame's RPF took power from the Hutu-led government. Intersec is a subsidiary of Crystal Ventures, an investment group founded by the party which dominates many parts of the Rwanda economy. What do you see happening here?
Okay, well, Mozambique, the article is actually telling us that Mozambique, which, by the way, I don't even know the total value of that, the liquid gas find, one of the largest in the world.
The world, yeah.
So let's go with 20 plus billion, right?
Okay, yep.
There's no way that Rwanda is not going to get at least 10% of that in the long run, right?
Because of the muscle.
Absolutely. Without it, without I'm Kagame, I would say without my soldiers, there's no money for anybody, right?
Yep.
So why should I not be entitled to 10%? Otherwise, I'll just withdraw my troops, and that's it.
That's 2 billion.
But of course, he needs them just as much as they need him. They need each other. Total needs
Kagame's
so of course Kagame is going to exact some tribute from Total, and Kagame is going to exact some tribute from the Mozambique government of President Philip Nyusi as well, because Rwanda Kagame would also say, without my soldiers, these rebels would march all the way to the capital, and you would not be president either. So Kagame is sitting good when it comes to dealing with both the government of Mozambique as well as Total Energies of France. He's sitting well. He is probably consulted on the business decisions that are being made by Total. Not personally, of course. I mean, I'm sure he has appointed somebody who
As a
is
front.
his eyes and his ears. No, I mean official. Probably he has an official person involved through the security company, but also in Total Energy's company itself. Just, without even looking at the details, I'm sure there are some positions there um, where Rwanda nationals are working, right?
Okay.
He's reputed to be very efficient when it comes to getting involved in these organizations. There's no way would I be securing the resources for them and not having them employ some of my nationals in prominent positions. I would not allow that. So I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure that is the case.
Okay.
Yeah. And then obviously you cannot deploy 4,000 soldiers in another country without your own officers being integrated in their intelligence services, their security services, because you would need to know the political condition within Mozambique as well. Is this government stable enough? Are we going to have this government collapse? And then we have 4,000 of our soldiers trapped somewhere in the country. We can't get to an airport to deploy them. Are they, is the government going to collapse to a hostile military regime that may want to see us as enemies? So I'm sure all these considerations have already been factored out. So he's fully integrated in Mozambique. And given the pressure that he's facing with regard to Congo, as you know, Congo
M23.
has alleged very credibly with evidence that Rwanda supports M23 because it needs instability in Eastern Congo to continue extracting resources that it has become very dependent upon for its own economy. And then, of course, you're losing some other revenue now that the United Kingdom is suspending that deportation program that was also very lucrative for Rwanda.
Yep.
That is now gone. So obviously, I would not be surprised if, in fact, Kagame has already contacted the CEO of Total and saying, you know what, we need to revise the rates at which we are providing you guys security. Oh, definitely. Think about it. It's just common sense,
There's inflation in the African market.
Yes, yes.
And the reason at the beginning there, when they say Islamic insurgents, it's also important to understand that the area where this oil, with this gas was found, the population there are Muslims. And so they've had to resettle them. And I think one of the problems was the resettlement package was nothing to write home about.
Absolutely. And then now you see how they play the Islamic card, right?
Yes, yes.
All you have to do is mention Islamic. And that is supposed to be as something negative, the boogeyman, right?
Yes.
But you hit upon something which was much more important and critical. That is one of the most neglected parts of the country.
Yes.
And they actually had genuine grievances. And that is why...
Which has been masked.
Absolutely.
Using...
As religious insurgency. That's not the case.
Using the bogey.
In fact, when the insurgency started, they were only attacking government infrastructure. Only,
yeah.
I became very suspicious that at some point they started targeting civilians, I wonder if those attacks were being perpetrated by the same set of individuals and leadership who launched the insurgency and had clear political agenda to redress their grievances, and were only attacking government targets.
Mm.
You know, it's not unusual, as you know, in these type of conflicts to be co-opted, where, you know, you have the agent provocateurs.
Yes.
You know, they deliberately target civilians so that, you know, you are then blamed with those attacks and then justifies to get more people involved in the fight against quote unquote Islamic terror.
Mm.
You know, you saw at some point they were considering bringing British forces, uh, American forces. You know, the Mozambique president was running around the world trying to get these Western
Mm.
forces. But of course, as you know, that is politically very difficult to sell.
Mm.
Having Western forces deployed in an African country in the 21st century. I mean, they still do it. I mean, they use proxies or they come in and they go out like they did in Libya. But to
Mm.
deploy, to provide permanent security, such as what Rwanda is doing, that was not sellable.